Right. So, because of time, just let's jump right into it. Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Good afternoon. Welcome to Real Beauty Talk with Paula D'Souza. If you don't know me, I have been a makeup artist for a little over 20 years, and I am more than a makeup artist. I transform lives through conversations, and I help women to reconnect with their inner beauty. So today I have a really amazing queen with me today. And I want to say, because I don't know if you're like most people that I know, you celebrate your birthday all month. And I know you had a birthday early this month. So I want to take this opportunity to wish you happy belated birthday. And I hope you're still celebrating
Thank you
because I
so much.
really, you're welcome. One day is not enough to celebrate all the things that life has offered you thus far. So, and for everybody else who are fans of the of Real Beauty Talk and you're celebrating a birthday anniversary, I want to take this opportunity to wish you happy birthday, and I hope you're being amazing to yourself. At least have some ice cream and cake. Hi, Camila. Camila Janine, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please share, stick around, ask questions. I want this to be conversational. It's not a monologue. We want to have a dialogue here today. So welcome, Anju. And I am not going to even attempt to pronounce your last name.
I
the
understand.
last
Yeah,
the last time I had some help from the pronunciation on Google, and I don't think they gave me it
yeah.
accurately. So I just want to find out. Just tell everybody who you are, full name and everything, and who is Anju.
Okay. Thank you so much. And so, greetings to everyone out there. Um, I'm really glad and excited to be here with Paula. And very recently I got connected to her, and I'm really happy to be doing this talk today with her. And I understand, as she said, like my name is quite long, the second name is quite difficult. And that's the reason I have kind of shortened it, condensed my name here on the screen for you too.
Yes.
So yeah, my full name is Anju Vivekanandaraj. And so that's my father's name. I haven't
Okay.
changed my name yet to my husband's name. Yeah, so still keeping my father's name because I know that it's a common trend here in Guyana too, just like back in my home country, India, where we usually, take our husband's name after marriage. Um, yeah, so I'm a practicing psychologist, and I have my private practice called Inner Peace Psychotherapy and Counseling Services in Guyana, and I'm also a consulting psychologist at clinics here, and one such clinic is Caribbean Surgeries Inc. So that's a bit about me, and I'm here um, with my family in Guyana. And actually, my home country is India, and now I'm here for around 3 years here in Guyana, and really we feel at home here in this country. So yeah, that's a little bit, about
That's a
me.
little bit about what you do. So now I want to get into the juicy part as to who
Mhm.
are you?
Okay, as a person, okay, I would say the first thing that I would say is I'm a mother. That's something that I cherish a lot. Being a mother, that's something that I still enjoy. And, I always feel good about that. That's the first thing that I would say. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a psychologist. And so I have a little daughter, just one child, one daughter who is 8 years old. And what else? What else you would like to know about me? You can ask me.
Well, what do you do for fun? Because you know
For fun.
what I realize now, a lot of people when you ask them about themselves, they tell you
Yeah,
about what they do, and
true.
they give
And
you their title, and they tell you they're a wife and a mother. But
mhm.
who are you as a person? If you really should go down, peel off some of the layers, who is Anju?
Okay, I'm more of a person who uh, likes to do a lot of things, a lot of fun things. I like to be on the adventurous side, and
Mhm.
any activity that interests me a lot, it should be adventurous and more fun. And especially, I like traveling the most. Traveling is something that I do without fail, irrespective of how my life is, how my life goes on. That's
Yes.
something that I don't miss out, whatever happens. So, for example, I can say right now, everyone had a difficult time, especially the last year.
Oh,
And
yes.
even now, right? But
Hmm.
still, I understand there's been travel restrictions and everything in place where we cannot move out to another country or different things. But still, keeping in mind the restrictions and how careful we have to be. But still, I
Hmm.
make sure that some kind of a trip is being made. That's
Yes, yes,
something
yes.
very important to me, because in our busyness of the life, we sometimes fail to have that real fun moments with the people
Hmm.
important in our life. Yes, we go back at the end of the day to our home, we get to have a chat and everything, but still, I feel that the travel especially brings out a different side of the people, uh,
Exactly.
and our family
Exactly.
members too. So that's something I like to do a lot. So I would say I like to be that kind of an adventurous and fun person. And otherwise, I would say I'm more into reading. I'm an avid reader. I read a lot of books, but things have changed lately in my life with all
Mhm.
the work and everything going on. I'm not able to, spend much time on the books, but
Right.
I used to be a person where I used to read around 6 to 7 books in a month, but now I'm
Wow.
down to one book. At least I make sure I complete at least one book a month. That is something that I have, you know, kept to myself in doing it. So I like reading books a lot, a lot. And
Hmm.
the next thing I would say is I'm a constant learner. I have never stopped learning in my life. It might be different things. It doesn't mean just the psychology or mental health aspects, but I am a learner in different aspects. Anything that interests me, anything I find passionate about, I continuously learn. Like I'm always on learning. If you ask me at any time, I would say I'm learning something right now. So
Right.
that's so I'm more interested in foreign languages. I have done few levels of learning in Spanish, Mandarin, and Chinese, but still I'm a learner. I wouldn't say that I'm
Right.
good at it, but still, these are some of my interests. So I would say normally I'm a fun and adventurous person who likes to read, likes to travel,
Hmm.
and who is always on the learning. I would say never, the learning stops in life. It's always there.
That that is just so awesome. Because just recently I was thinking about traveling and how much you learn about yourself and other people. What would you say is your most adventurous experience traveling so far?
Adventurous experience traveling so far? I would say my trip to Africa.
Ah, okay. Where in
um,
Africa did you go?
yeah, so to Zambia and Kenya. So these two countries in Africa. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, so we had an opportunity to spend a little bit of, I wouldn't say little, almost 15 days to a month of time in both Zambia and Kenya. And
Hmm.
that's one place I feel like really connected to. Like even now as a family, we talk about Africa all the time, since the
Hmm.
day we made the visit. Like, sometimes even I feel like getting retired in that country. I would say that's the
Wow.
place, like when I grow old I need to go back. It's in that way that Africa has had an impact,
Hmm.
for both for me and my husband. So the
Yes.
reason I would say is I find Africa and people there like um, more appreciative of each other. I
Hmm.
find that uh, you know that kind of humbleness and the kindness, I see that in the people over there, the way
Yes.
they talk and everything. So it's not only about the places that we visited, but it's also more about the people over there that I kind of find that real connection towards that country. I really like, especially Zambia.
Right. Well, I can relate to that because I had an opportunity to spend 6 weeks in Accra, Ghana,
Uh-huh.
and it was a phenomenal experience. And what would you say is the one thing that you have learned about yourself in terms of like traveling? Because for me, I one of the things that I have learned, because I don't know if you know that I'm also from Guyana, I'm Guyanese, and
Mm-hmm.
have done a bit of traveling. And the one thing that I've learned from my overall experience is the importance of trusting.
Okay.
Because when you're in a strange place, you're away from your family, you're away from your comfort zone, and you learn on a different level. How has that been for you?
Okay, that's nice. That's interesting. So, for me, I would say that through traveling, I have learned to be more appreciative of life, the things that you have in life. Sometimes it's human nature. Like, even when you have something in your life, you always look at things that is missing rather than what's at hand.
Yes.
So, I would say that traveling, going through different places, meeting different people, I would say that I have kind of become more appreciative of what I have in my life, and that's something that I say the traveling would have taught for me, and try to be grateful for who you are, and the opportunities that you already have in your life, and the people that you have in your life. So I would say that's what you know I'd
Yes,
say.
yes, yes. That is amazing. So, when you were growing up, and because I know, as children, we have dreams about what we want to be when we grow up. Did you have a fantasy career as a child? How did you
Yeah.
evolve into becoming a psychologist?
Okay, so growing up, yes, as a child, again, from a very early age, I was lot into books. So the first book that kind of got me interested in mystery, solving crimes, all those things was
Mm,
Sherlock Holmes. That's the first book that I would say that really got me hooked on those aspects, right?
right.
And from very early on, my books, right, the books that I read, mostly the story books or the fiction related books, whatever I read was something centered around these aspects, like thrillers, crime thrillers, and
Right.
mystery based novels, and psychological thrillers, and so forth. So
Mhm.
I would say that I had the interest from a very early age on the aspects of psychology and on the aspects of mental health. But at the very early age, I never thought I would get into the field of psychology. But I did, what I say is, go towards or lean towards those aspects, psychological aspects and mental health aspects. But I would say that kind of not crazy, it's not actually a crazy thing, but as a childhood, the dream I had was to become something like a forensic medical examiner, you know,
Ah,
something
okay.
like a crime scene investigator, or at least do your medicine and become a forensic medical examiner.
Right,
That
right,
was
right.
my kind of a dream that as a child that I had.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Mhm. So how did it actually evolve? Because I mean, sometimes it's a story. Sometimes you intentionally choose something and you pursue that path,
Mhm.
or sometimes it find you. Which was it for you?
I would say that, um, as I said, the interest was there, right? The
Mhm.
interest on psychology and mental health aspects. But rather, I was not able to follow that in my life at the earliest stages because of certain differences when it comes to um, the Indian culture and the thinking of my family members, right? They don't want their child to get into a psychology or mental health related fields, because we have this kind of a superstitious belief, I could say, where they believe that if a person enters a mental health field, then they tend to behave a lot like you know
Ah, so
having a
how did you
psychological issue.
overcome that challenge? Because I know, as you would know now that you're in Guyana, it's almost like, and I don't think it's much different here in Trinidad.
Mhm.
Um, Mental health is like it's like it's like a taboo subject. And
Yeah.
I saw, I think it was on your page because I was kind of doing some research to see
Mhm.
who this beautiful woman is. And I saw a little meme that says, um, it's like somebody's in hospital. The person, and there's on one side it says, like if you're ill, let's say you have a cold, everybody wishing you get well, wishes, and then you're suffering from depression, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So yeah, so how are you able to overcome those challenges? Because I think why I'm asking you that, for some young girl or boy who may be watching, whether they're from India or from this neck of the woods, and it's something that they want to get into, I really believe it's important for you to share some of the struggles that you have to overcome in order
Mhm.
to like evolve into who you are now today.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say that, yes, I had that difficulties back home. Like getting into this field was really difficult because, as I said, because of the taboos and the thoughts that the
Mhm.
people had towards this profession. And I would say that to people out there who are interested in psychology or who would like to pursue or take on this path, I would say that support system is very, very important. Right?
Mhm,
You
mhm,
need the
mhm.
support, to go on, to follow that path and everything. So for me, it was, even though my family, my parents were kind of against this particular field, I would say that my support came from my husband. So it was actually after my marriage that I was able to actually pursue this particular path, on its entirety, like develop further, grow further, develop my skills, and completely take on this particular profession. So support system, yes, definitely it's important. And above all, see for yourself, like what is that you're looking for in this profession. It's not just about your interest in psychology as such, but what is that about this profession or being in that field, what is that you really find connected to, or what is that you really wanted to do being in this profession. So I would say, think about that, everyone, like those who want to pursue this, think about that. Really, do
Yes.
you think that you have, or you will find that connection, by being in this profession? You need to know, like, what is that you want to do getting into this profession.
Right.
So having that passion and then getting into that profession would be good. But I understand, like, many of us don't get to know what or where they want to go, very early on. It's
Right.
different for different persons. Yeah.
Right. Would you say, because to me, I think passion is a big
Yes,
thing
passion is
in
thing.
things. So you would you say that you definitely have to have a passion for helping people when you choose a career like this?
Okay. So even though, like, it took some time, as I said, it was actually after marriage that got exactly into this profession. Even though it took that time for me to realize, yes, this is the profession for me, I would say that I had certain qualities in me that was, there way before, right? Like
Right.
certain things, like I have had my friends, my family members, everyone say that, like, I'm a good listener. That's something that I
Mhm.
have had as a feedback, positive feedbacks from my friends and family.
Right.
I'm really good in, whenever there's a problem, whenever there's a conflict, I'm really good in finding solutions, helping them find the solutions. So these are some of the things I say that, and most of my friends, in any of the difficulties or challenges, friends and family members, I have found them to be really comfortable and at ease in talking to me and being with me in those moments. So I would say that I had interest very early on in this field, and there
Mhm.
were these qualities on other side which I found that, yes, I'm really good at this, by through my friends and my family members, where they kept reminding me often that, these are some of the qualities that you have.
Right.
And yeah, so that's when, like, I kind of, I wanted to go with this interest of mine that I had earlier. And
Mhm.
now I have the opportunity, I have the support and everything. And yes, I definitely do have these qualities and those interests. So finally, it's kind of, where I
Mhm.
put things together. And
Okay.
I would say that it's more than like, it's only once I came into this field, I felt and I made sure that, yes, this is exactly for me. That's
Yes.
when I felt like, that's because when I hear the words from my clients, when they say that,
Mm.
uh, when they thank me for what the help that's being done. When someone says to me, you're really good at this, they
Yeah.
sometimes say, they say that openly, like, you're really good at this,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
those words and the changes that I see in my patients and my clients, the progress that they make, the impact that I'm able to make in their lives, that kind of reminds me often, yes, this is the right thing for me, right? So
Right.
everyone can't say that, okay, this is my right path, even before getting into the profession. Like, every one of us has ideas and different things
Right.
going on, and we just go into that profession, but we can't be sure that this is the right thing, this is where my passion lies. Some of us
Right.
are very clear, some of us are very
Right.
clear in the beginning itself, like, okay, this is exactly where I want to be in. But for many of us, it's like we go in and then we find out, is this
And
right
then
for
you
me?
find out, yes. So you're definitely pursuing your purpose.
Yeah, that I
Okay.
can say that very strongly now, you know the way I feel really connected to the profession here.
Right. So I know you have a psychotherapy services. It's called Inner Peace Counseling, and just the name of it alone, I feel very peaceful hearing it. So tell us a little bit about that, the services that you provide, because of course I have people from both Guyana and of course, it's only because of COVID, people are not traveling. So
Yeah.
if tell us a little bit about just the services that you provide and how people can get in contact with you.
Okay, great. So, uh, at Inner Peace Psychotherapy and Counseling Services, I provide counseling and psychotherapies with regards to especially two main focus areas, which is the mental health counseling. When I say mental health counseling, like all the mental health disorders, and the very common ones that we have are like depression, anxiety, and the most of the times depression with suicidal thoughts. And we have a few of the individuals dealing with obsessive compulsive disorder, and very few like psychosis and bipolar disorders. So all the mental health related counseling. And the other main focus area is the couples therapy. So these are the two main focus areas where counseling and different therapies are being provided to manage, the symptoms and the disorders that they have. Yeah.
So great. I have a question that just popped into my head because I am on a, I would say, I'm exploring my spiritual path and I'm walking it and everything else. How do you recognize when someone is going through a spiritual awakening as opposed to having, is it a psychotic breakdown?
Okay, as a psychosis, or yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of stories from persons who they're going through their awakening, and because mainstream therapy don't understand that there's a difference.
Mhm.
What I want to find out from you as somebody who's in this field, how do you recognize when this person is actually not sick? They're just
Okay.
experiencing a spiritual awakening. I don't
Okay.
know if there's a difference. I don't know if you understand what I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
no. I
ask.
totally understand. Totally
Yeah.
understand. And I just connected with someone on my mind too. With the experiences. So I understand what you're talking about. So I would say that a person who has some kind of mental health disorder, maybe psychosis or schizophrenic, and who are really into the spiritual aspects. The difference I would say is, if you are having a mental health disorder, probably your thoughts. What do you say that think of, what your thoughts are, and your words will be more like incoherent. It'll not be coherent enough. It'll not There will be no connections between that. That's something. And most of the times when you see people with psychosis, if they talk about some spiritual aspects, and like they can they're connected, they feel connected to God and so forth. And it's mostly they will have some kind of hallucinations. This is a very common term that you all would know of. So mostly they would say like, I am hearing God's voices, or, I'm having this energy inside of me that kind of directs me to do certain things. So these are
Right.
some of the symptoms that they have, like, hallucinations, which can be either auditory or even visual, and usually they will have these grandiose ideas. When I say the grandiose ideas, it's like sometimes they say, I am God,
Okay.
or kind of God has chosen me to do something.
Right.
So
Yeah.
all these are the grandiose ideas. So these are some of the symptoms which can clearly, can be identified and differentiate between a person who is actually going through some kind of spiritual experience or a spiritual practice compared to someone who is having some kind of a mental health disorder, like psychosis.
Right. Because I remember, I don't know if you know of the author, Paulo Coelho,
Yeah.
the Brazilian author. He spoke of his story when he started. He wanted to write because, of course, he came from this prominent family,
Mhm.
and he wanted to be a writer, musician, and all this thing. He was more on his spiritual path, and his family actually put him in an institution.
Okay. Believing that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, how I was just wondering, how do, from your perspective, how do you recognize? Is there something is there a different to recognize? Hey, this person don't need me to put them on drugs. They really want somebody who could guide them to go through their process.
Okay. So it
Is
depends
that a
again on
thing?
the, yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes,
Sorry?
please. No, no, you were about to ask something else. Yeah.
No, 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 no. Finish. I was just wondering if it's a thing or if it's really even identifiable.
Yes, definitely it's identifiable. As I said, if a person comes and says, I'm hearing these voices, or God is speaking to me, that's something that you need to, if it's a family member or, someone who's not a professional, how they can identify is, yes, you need to, watch them, notice their behaviors. Is this something that's happening often? Like, do they say that they are hearing voices? Are they talking to the voices?
Mhm.
And how is these thoughts and maybe the voices, or maybe they say that I am God, and they start doing something. So how is their behavior in their day-to-day life? These are some things
Ah,
that we need to notice, right? So
okay.
saying that I feel connected to God is different from saying that yes, I feel connected to God and God said me to do these things, and now the next day their behavior is completely changed. They're doing something that's irrational. So definitely those, how is it affecting their day-to-day life? How is
Mhm.
it, their behaviors are being affected? That will
Mhm.
determine if this is something that requires a medical treatment, or this is something that he's just too much into spirituality, you know?
Ah, okay, so there's really a thin line. And I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna definitely bring you back again, but I want to pick your brain on a few things. Definitely anxiety, depression. We
Mhm.
have a lot of people who are navigating those issues right now. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna deal with I don't know, what is the difference between anxiety and depression?
Okay, so depression is something like, where you feel, we say when you feel that kind of intense sadness, for without any unknown reason. Most of the time you will not know this is the reason that's causing the sadness. Suddenly you feel very intense sad and low mood, low energy, like you don't feel like doing anything at all. You don't even feel like getting up out of your bed, so you lose your interest in all the things that you used to do or that you find enjoyable and pleasurable before, right? All these, goes on at least for a minimum of 2 weeks, then we say it's depression, right?
Right.
Sometimes it can be, bipolar, which means that suddenly it's both the extremes,
Oh,
both
that's
mood
a whole
swings.
other topic.
Whole other
Bipolar.
thing, yeah. So there
Yeah.
they that also forms, it's a part of depression, where you have both depression and mania in bipolar. And when you say anxiety can be more generalized, meaning that you can develop anxiety for anything, like without again any specific cause or anything, but just you develop the feelings of anxiety, where it might be associated with difficulty in breathing, and sometimes even sweating, and the nervousness and all these things comes up. Or it can be a different kind of anxiety, where you develop the anxiety feeling in regards to some social settings, like, which is called social anxiety. So you just come across the overcrowded places, you develop anxiety. Whenever it comes to having a social interaction, you develop these anxieties. Or even the phobias, which is very common thing, an extreme fear of any particular thing. All these can cause anxiety. So anxiety is basically where it's a disorder where you have this the feelings of fear, and nervousness, and associated with symptoms like difficulty in breathing, and everything comes up, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's anxiety. And it can be, again, both the depression and anxiety can be vary from mild to very extreme cases, and that goes and that becomes different.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you two more questions in relation to the same topic, and then I'm going to go to the comment section. I saw Sina, we have a few questions. So okay, I think my question is going to be twofold.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take anxiety first. How? Because I know of someone who has a partner that suffers from anxiety, and sometimes it's bad to the point where they have to take something to keep them calm.
Control.
How do you, as a partner, friend, brother, or sister, deal with your loved one who is definitely having anxiety issues?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll let you deal with that first, and then I'm going to ask the next one related
Mm-hmm.
to depression.
Okay.
How do you support somebody?
Support someone who has an anxiety issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So it depends on, like, who you are as a friend or as a partner. It's
Mhm.
basically you. Many of us, everyone in whatever relationship, we always find hard to share the vulnerable part of ourselves. We don't want to do that. The
Yes.
vulnerable feelings and the vulnerable part of oneself. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to share about that, because sometimes we feel that saying that to the other person makes us look like a weak, or it
Mm.
is risky talking about that in a relationship, or to your friends, or anyone who's close to you. And so we don't show that part of us to others. So it's very important, as a partner or as a friend or as a family member, you get to understand the vulnerable part of the other person who is suffering from anxiety. So if you get to understand what is that vulnerable feeling that they are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, or that's actually leading to anxiety or developing panic attacks and so forth, that understanding is, I would say, is the basic thing that you need to have. Try to understand what is the vulnerable feeling or vulnerable part that they have, right? And in case of anxiety, in the moments of anxiety, when they are having an anxiety, I would say that they are already going through a lot of emotions in that moment. It's like overwhelming for them. It's like too much for them in that moment, right? That's the reason they have this anxiety in the first place. And they have all these associated symptoms, like they feel like things are crushing
You're
around.
closing in, yes.
Yeah.
Because the
Heaviness.
way a friend of mine described it is that you just feel like the walls are closing in on you.
Yeah,
What
closing
do
on.
you do in that moment if you're with somebody who's going through that? Is
Mhm.
like, for me, the first thing that comes to mind is I will encourage them, okay, take some deep breaths.
Yeah, that's it.
Breathe
Because
in,
you need to
breathe.
be calm, and
Yes.
you're there next to the person, so it's very important that you be calm enough, and you say a few kind words, and be comforting to that person, if
Right.
possible. Especially like persons with social anxiety, like they just develop when they go to this in a crowded places or strange places, or when they meet new people. That's when they develop the anxiety. So help them to move away from that situation if possible immediately, which is actually causing the anxiety. If you know that, okay, this is the reason for or the trigger for anxiety, help to remove them from that
Remove them.
trigger or from the situation. Be as calm as possible, because if you know, get upset or you get stressed again, that's going to worsen the situation again. You know,
Yes, yes,
it's not
yes.
something that can be done to, manage it in a bigger level, but at least you can be a person who's supportive enough or comforting enough to bring down the intensity of the anxiety that they are experiencing in that moment. That's something that everyone can do.
Right,
And on a further level, it's important that they understand the vulnerable feeling and they get to talk about that. They get to share about that with the
right,
people that you believe and trust and that you love and care about.
right. And encouraging them to breathe in the moment is that
Yeah.
a good thing?
Yes.
Okay, right. And now, when it comes to depression, I know there it's multifaceted, and because of time, I'm just gonna ask you, like, how does one recognize when they're heading to that place where, you know what, I'm gonna sink into a depression? Is it something that is recognizable, or you don't know it until you're there?
Okay, I would say it's recognizable, right? Um, if just to understand this concept, I'm just saying here, out there, like those who are listening, you can think of a situation in your life where you were stressful, or where you're facing stress or some kind of difficulty. Think of those situations. So in those times, how did that stress feel to you? How did that stress feel to you in your body? Where did you feel, and how did that feel to you? So that's
Mhm,
different for different people, different situations, right? So for
mhm,
example, just like some of the things we mentioned, right? So people will feel that heaviness in the chest. It's
mhm,
just like it starts to feel heavy, right? Or a little bit of tightness. For some, your breathing suddenly changes. It becomes fast or difficult to breathe. And for some, like the chest starts to pound, you know, increased heart
mhm.
rate and palpitation happens. Or for some, it might be a slight headache. Or for some, they might have some kind of discomfort over the neck. So what I want to say here is everyone will feel that moments of sadness or anxiety or a stress, whatever situation. It's not only for depression, even anxiety, you can recognize it even before you have a panic attack or it goes to an extreme level, even
Mhm,
before the sadness becomes an intense sadness. So how do you
mhm,
recognize that is notice where in your body and how do you feel that emotion in your body. Noticing that is your first step
mhm.
in identifying that, yes, now I'm here I'm having this kind of a sensation in
Right,
my body. So you recognize and realize that, okay, now I'm starting to have that sadness or anxiety.
right. What about the relationship with your thoughts? How important is it to man? Do you think the thoughts that you think, especially a negative self-talk,
Mhm.
does it really is it a one thing that helps to push someone further into that state of depression?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I wouldn't say just for depression, for all the mental health issues,
Oh, okay. So your
thoughts
thoughts,
thoughts is a basis of all the problems. I don't want to go
including
into,
anxiety, right?
yeah, including anxiety. I don't want to go even into mental health disorders or the diagnosis. Everything, every of us worries, our simple upset, our simple stresses that we have, everything
Yeah,
stems from our thoughts and our emotions. These
right.
are both the major factors for all our worries. So when I say thoughts are the problem, I would say that actually thoughts are harmless. Actually, the thoughts are not harmful. But when it becomes harmful is when you get too attached in these thoughts. Meaning that, let's say there is a specific thought, like let's say that maybe you didn't do well in your workplace today, something went wrong at the workplace,
Yes.
right? And that thought is actually harmless. But now
Mhm.
you get too attached to that, in the sense like all day long you're just thinking that's going on in your mind, it's repeatedly going
Yeah,
on a loop. Okay, why
yeah,
did this happen? Oh god, I just got embarrassed in front of my colleagues. Now how am I going to face them tomorrow? What is my boss going to say? Is my pay scale going to be cut
yes,
off?
yes,
What is
yes,
going to,
yes,
as it just goes. So the more you're caught up or the more you're attached to these thoughts, now the thoughts becomes a problem and you end up having anxiety, depression, worries, upset, hurt,
yes.
everything comes up. So I
Mhm.
would say thoughts are harmless, but once you're too entangled in it, once you're too hooked in your particular thought, it can be one thought or multiple thoughts. That's when all the problems comes from, that's where it starts.
Right. And I recognize that our mind is very fragile. All it takes is for you to just feed one negative thought. And they say, there's a saying that thing, thoughts are the feeling of, thoughts are related to the mind, and emotions are related to the body. So I really believe that it's important for us to really manage on, especially our negative self-talk. So I'm going to take a quick pause and go to 2 questions, and then we're going to start wrapping up because I know you have to go soon. My dear friend Gloria Panton, she's always on every single week. Her question is more curiosity question. She wants to know if you're into Raja Yoga or any other.
Oh, okay, great. That's nice. Okay, so as Paula knows here too, that I'm more into something called mindfulness. So mindfulness is just a very quick idea about it. Mindfulness is not any religious-based practice or anything like that. It's actually a scientifically based practice. Where you learn to stay connected, stay grounded in the present moment. As I said before, the thoughts are your problems, right? So the thoughts are mostly your past, or it's about your future, something that has happened already or something yet to happen. And that's where all our problems comes about. So mindfulness teaches us how to stay connected to the present moment. So that's a mindfulness uses meditation as a mode of practicing mindfulness. It's a medium to practice mindfulness. So I'm more into mindfulness meditations.
Oh, awesome. And then Samantha is here. Hey, Samantha, how are you? Samantha's question is, if a person is going through healing and processing a lot of pain, what advice would you give to them?
Again, here I would say, when you're going through healing process, and when you say you're processing pain, it's, again, let me tell, as you said, thoughts are your base, right? Remember that, thoughts and emotions. So let me tell you from that viewpoint. Let's say that here I have this notepad, right? Let's imagine that this is your thoughts, all your emotions that is causing you the pain, right? And that's what you're trying to move away from. That is what you're trying to heal in the process, right? Now, if you have these thoughts and emotions up in front of you, right, I would say that it is kind of obstructing my view of the world. I cannot see the world and the people and everyone around you clearly. And definitely it's affecting the conversation that I'm having with you, right? So now let's say I put this down here in front of me. So these are your thoughts and emotions. Now, would you say that these thoughts and emotions have gone, or is it still there?
Samantha, you hearing that? Yes, so that's basically it in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
So the final question from Facebook is from Camille Janine. She's asking, is paranoia one of the signs of depression?
Yes, they can have it. But I would say it's more with BPDs, bipolars. They might have more, but yes, there are possibilities.
This is such a very deep topic on so many levels, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to start kind of wrapping up because I have some juicy questions that I want to get into, which is all about you. So I want to bring you back down from all that stuff and that we were talking about. I want to know, how do you de-stress at the end of your work day?
Okay, at the end of the workday, de-stressing. I would say for everyone, de-stressing is different. And I would like to hear from you, Paula, on the aspects of, taking care of yourself, especially physically, because I find, let me add, I'll come on to my ways of de-stressing, but I believe that that's something that's very important to many women out there, It gives us that confidence, that it builds the self-esteem of the person, the way we look, the way we dress, and that's very, very important. So I would say the makeup and the grooming is an important part where it can affect psychologically. So before I go on, can I hear some thoughts from you?
What I do to de-stress at the end of a long day, first of all, when I'm on my way home, I have this area that I like to drive to. It's on the western side of the island. I can see the sea, and then I have a view of Port of Spain. So I usually play some music, open up
Nice.
my windows, and I take a nice long drive. It's just maybe like about 20 minutes from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would pass my house, take a drive down there. I get a chance to observe nature. I really love how, and I admire the way how other people enjoy the island because you see, especially if it's on the weekend, you see a lot of families fishing and
Yeah.
they're out there to pick me. I don't know what it is about that. It makes me feel really good, even though I'm away from my family. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I get home, I make sure that I eat and everything before I
Mm-hmm.
do that. So when I get home, I don't have to worry about having dinner or anything like that. Maybe just a cup of tea. So when I get home, I take a nice long shower and I scrub my feet sometimes and I moisturize my body, take off my makeup, moisturize. And then I probably would just, I don't know, maybe watch something funny.
Funny, yeah.
And yeah, just keep me relaxed. So that's how I do. And of course, different days will require different things. I wouldn't do the same thing every
Yeah.
single day. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely at the end of the day, a nice long shower.
Mm-hmm.
If I am with my partner, anybody who I'm dating, I make sure that they know, you see that my shower time, it's my time. Half an hour. Don't be waiting for me. If you want to wait and I want to wake you up when I get to bed, that's fine, but don't rush me. That's my time.
Look at
So
that.
that's
But
me in a
nice.
nutshell. Yeah.
I would say I can relate to some extent on what you just shared. I
Yeah.
I, I too enjoy the drive way back, from work. Today I'm late. I'm still at my workplace, but sometimes it's a bit early, and the traffic here in Guyana at those peak hours. How it can be. But then I still get to enjoy those times because it's like a slow drive where I play on music. I just enjoy singing on
Yes.
the car, and not worrying
Yes.
about being late, or since it's moving slow and everything. So that's something,
Yes.
you get to de-stress on the way just listening to music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I
And
know a lot of people call it traffic, but they don't know it's a blessing to be
mhm,
in traffic.
in
You get a
traffic too.
chance to relax and wind down before you get
Yeah.
home.
Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and what makes you happy?
For me, my family, my daughter,
Mm.
she's the most important thing, and everything with regards to her, I would say that's the major thing that gives me the happiness. And apart from that, I would say that definitely, I the work that I do from day to day basis, that's a second thing that I would say that really really gives me happiness. It's not only about the happiness, it's the feeling of content, satisfaction, and the achievement that I feel at the end of the day.
Yes.
However busy the day might be, however tired I might be at the end of the day, looking back on, thinking back on, the people who have come across in my life, in my profession, and as I said in the beginning, it's those changes that I see in them. When I
Yes.
see the progress after a few sessions, I feel really, really great about it. I kind of celebrate that kind of achievement, saying that, so and so, like my client is feeling better now, and they have progressed, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of gives me the utmost happiness and utmost sense of achievement at the end of the day. So that's what I would
Right.
say.
I'm smiling widely because guess what? I feel like if you're talking for me as well,
Uh-huh.
because it's my job makes me feel really good. It doesn't matter. I don't feel tired. I can have
Mhm.
aches and pains and I will still stand up and I will still do what I have to do because it just gives me so much satisfaction because a woman will come in, she might be all fussing because of time and or whatever stresses she may have come in with. But when I'm done with her, it's like she's literally walking 10 feet taller. And that makes me feel so good. So we're gonna play the little game
Yeah.
thing because I know you have to go just now. And everybody on the outside who is hanging in with us. I hope you're sharing this live. I just want to take a pause to say thank you so much for sharing your Wednesday afternoon with me. You could be doing anything else, but you choose to hang out with Anju and I. And I hope we are blessing your heart today as she's blessing mine at this moment. our time is the most our time is the most important asset, or I should say our most valuable asset. And for you, Andrew, to share your time with me, I am very, very, very appreciative. So yeah, first thoughts, as I will explain to you, I will say a word and then you just say the first word or first phrase that comes to mind, but you can't repeat yourself twice.
Okay.
All right. So the first word is love. And I love love.
Love. My daughter and my husband. I don't know, my
Marriage.
daughter. That's the first thing I would say.
Yes. Marriage.
Hmm. Oh, marriage.
Yes.
Um, it's again, I would say love, security, long-lasting connection.
Awesome. Your experience living in Guyana.
Ah, the most enjoyable thing and feels like home.
Nice. What is your most inspiring, the most inspiring advice that you have received to date?
To date. Okay. And
Yes.
it's okay. Let me tell the advice first and from whom. Okay. The thing is, wherever you go, okay, whichever part of the world you are, wherever you go, always give back to the community, give back to the land that is providing for you and your family. So, right now, I would say that place is Guyana, and that's what I'm trying to do as much as possible, as many opportunity as it comes by. I'm always looking for ways that I can provide back to this land, to the people, to the community of this country, because it's providing us with everything, the food, the home, the life that we have is because of this country. So I'm always having that in my mind. And I would say the advice is given by my husband, and that has been my
Wow.
influence from the beginning.
Yeah, well, that is a powerful, that is phenomenal. I would definitely take that to heart too. And I really, I can relate to that. So I'm going to ask you two more. And what would be the takeaway message that you would want to leave with everyone that is on this live right now and will probably listen in the future?
Okay. So the takeaway message, I would say that always we say we try whenever a problem or issue comes up, this is what we try to say. I want to control it, I want to put a lid on it, I don't want this thought to come back. I don't want to feel this way again at all. So give me a solution where I don't feel like this again, or I don't have this thought again. That's something
Mhm,
that cannot happen, right? Your mind
mhm.
is created in such a way that you will have the thoughts, you will have the feelings and emotions, and that just comes up, it pops up into your mind. So I want you to take this from this today's talk, is that
Mhm.
always don't say that I need to control my thoughts or I need to remove my thoughts and emotions that is causing all these issues, but rather learn to distance from your thoughts. Learn the ways
Right.
that you can distance yourself from the thoughts, so that these thoughts and emotions are no longer creating the impact, or it's no longer affecting you the way it used to affect you, right? That's
Mhm.
the reality, that's the practicality. You can't put a lid to your thoughts and emotions and say that it
Right.
doesn't, it should not come out, right? So that's
Right.
something. Learn the ways to distance yourself from the thoughts and emotions, and to take, it's not only distancing. If you stop there, you're still going to be in the same place.
Mhm.
Learn to take the steps or the actions in your life that will take you
Mhm.
towards a better quality of life. Take that value guided actions in life as you're distancing from the thoughts and emotions.
Right. In other words, in a nutshell, don't believe everything you think and don't believe everything you feel. Right? That's it in a nutshell. So, and the final thought that I want to get from you is, well, actually, I kind of want to ask two quick ones, and then I'm going to let you go. Your thoughts on mental health.
Mental health, I would say, is the priority. Just like every aspects, every areas of your life, mental health is a priority. And I would say that in the present day world, it has become the top priority than anything else. And it's something that goes unnoticed, and it's something that has not been, discussed, or it is something that people feel afraid to reach out for help. So I would say that has become a priority. And I would say at this point, the self-care is more important. It has to start from
Yes.
yourself, beginning yourself,
Yes.
take care of your mental health. And I would say think collectively. Think collectively and take collective efforts. It's not only always about yourself. Think collectively where I can support my family, where I can support
Yes.
my friend, where I can support
Yes.
my coworker or a colleague in a workplace who is going through some
Mm-hmm.
kind of difficulty. So think
Right.
collectively, take collective efforts, and start with self-care at the individual level so that once you better yourself, you can always be available for others in your life.
Exactly. And that is so awesome. Thank you so much for that. And my final question, it kind of, I still want to ask it, right? If you could choose anything, any other career, other than
Mhm.
what you're doing now, would you choose something else? And if you would, what would that be?
That's very simple as having a cafe with a bookshop.
Well, you can still do that too.
Yeah, I still have that in mind. Maybe someday, I said like
Yes.
I'm a very, very, I'm always a book lover, and I always like to be surrounded by books. And coffee is my second
And
most
I
thing.
will make sure that you serve in chai because I will definitely visit your cafe wherever it
Definitely.
is because
Yeah.
we are nomad spirit. We have at least I should say I have a nomad spirit too. I love to travel. So
Mhm.
wherever in the world you're gonna be, make sure you stay in touch with me. I will definitely come and visit your cafe. I also love books and I will definitely read books. So I'm gonna let you
Definitely.
go for
Thank you.
now. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for very in I mean, time was so short, but I think we get a chance to like just pack everything into
Yeah.
one. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Facebook don't go as yet, and Ju has another appointment. So I'm just telling her how much I appreciate her time and have a great evening. Love and blessings to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And thanks to everyone out there who came out to, listen to our talk today. And I hope that, even it was a kind of a fun talk, you would have got some tips here and
Yes.
there, which you would be,
Yes.
able to make use of. And so thank you so much. And you all have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you, Anju. Love and blessings.
Thank you.
So, Facebook, that was the conversation for today. I decided to stick around for 5 minutes again to find out from you if there's anything that you wanted to share. I would love if you could share what your takeaway is from the conversation. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Erla. Hey, Donna Johnson. Yes, believe nothing that you hear, nothing that you see. Believe in, don't believe what you think. Don't believe everything that you think because your thoughts are not always true. And don't believe everything that you feel because emotions are very deceptive as well. So, hey, D. Hey, D, how are you? Not my DJ, Deidre Braffett. I don't know if he's still here. Thank you, Candice, for joining me. Thank you, Samantha. Hey, Aviva. And to every oh, and my girl, Tracy Charles. Thank you so very much for popping in. And for everybody else who watching and listening on the down low, welcome. I really appreciate you. And I would love if you could, before we go, just share one takeaway because remember I always want to have feedback and I really do appreciate your interaction. So if you guys could just pop into the comments and share like your one takeaway from this conversation, what's the one thing that really stood out for you the most? Hey, Karen. Cause I'm good. How are you doing? I really would appreciate if you could pop that in the comments. And don't forget, I'm now on, oh my God, my brain just went blank. I am now on YouTube. So hop over to YouTube and follow my um, Paula D'Souza TV. Hey, Whitney, glad to be back and tune into Beauty Talk. I hope you were able to listen. Yes, Earl, learning to control your thoughts is not necessarily controlling your thoughts, but be aware of especially your negative self-talk because a lot of times we think our greatest enemies are on the outside of us, the friend who don't like us or the co-worker who don't like us or whatever, but our greatest enemy is the enemy within, and your thoughts and your feelings could convince you that the whole world don't like you, and it's not really like that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Where is my girl, Gloria? You always give me great feedback. I would love to. I don't know, Whitney, if you were you here from the beginning? So I'm expecting a comment from Whitney as to what your takeaway is. I'm also expecting a comment from Donna Johnson as to what your takeaway is. My girl, Donna, my one true friend. I miss you so much. I don't know if Janine is still on and if Samantha is still here. You guys just leave. I mean, I know it sounds like a begging, but I like to have interactions. So I want to know what you guys are thinking. If there is anything that really, you would take with you. Yes, being mindful of your thoughts. Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Candice. Yes, remember to take care of yourself. That is so important. And encourage everyone to do the same thing as well. And taking care of yourself sometimes you don't necessarily always have to go to a spa. Just keep a scrubby thingy in your bathroom, scrub your heel. Every now and then mix up a little at home scrub, you know, and give yourself a little treat, even if it's once a week, you know. Especially the end of the week where sometimes, depending on your work, you may have had a stressful week and you want to be able to de-stress. That will be a great way to de-stress. Give yourself a body scrub. And if you're married, if you have a boyfriend or whatever the case is, it's a great way to bond as well. Scrub each other in the bathroom, create a whole spa atmosphere. You could do it by yourself or you could do it with somebody. Oh, you weren't here from the beginning. Oh, great. So when you get an opportunity, you could always go back and watch. What I will do is I'm going to definitely pop this up on YouTube ASAP so that you guys will have it. So don't forget to share, share, share. And I will do my wrap-ups now because I know you guys have been here for an hour now. I just want to say thank you again. I appreciate your time and I had such a wonderful conversation. And I know I would definitely bring her back again. So if you want me to bring her back again, give me some hearts, give me some yes, yes, yes in the comments so I will know for sure. So she could see it as well and know that at some point I will invite her to come again so we could dive in a little bit more to having some deep reflecting conversations. So I need to see a yes, yes, yes or your hearts. So thank you guys again. Remember to be good to yourself. Remember to be safe. Have a great evening and have an amazing rest of the week until we have this conversation again. Next week I'm going to be here again next week too. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful rest whenever you do go to bed. Talk to you soon. Toodaloo. Bye.